On a rainy day in rural Japan, a young boy named Ichigo walks home with his mother when he spots a girl in a white dress standing alone by the river curious. He runs toward her, wondering why she's there by herself. His mother yells for him to stop, but before he can, the girl suddenly turns around. In that instant, Ichigo faints. When he wakes up, he finds his mother lying on the ground, fatally wounded. She had tried to protect him, but was attacked by that same mysterious girl. The girl wasn't human. She was a vengeful spirit. Years pass, and Ichigo grows into a young man who's learned to live with his strange ability, seeing spirits. He starts helping lost souls find peace. One evening after returning from school, Ichigo finds a strange woman standing in his room. Her name is Rukia, a soul reaper. She's shocked that Ichigo can actually see her. Suddenly, she senses a dark presence approaching. Ichigo rushes downstairs, only to find his sister trembling in fear. Without warning, the walls explode and a massive hand bursts through, dragging his sister away before his eyes. Ichigo runs outside to save her, but a giant monster blocks his path. He's thrown to the ground with one powerful strike. Just as the creature moves in for the kill, Rukia leaps in and slashes it with her sword, saving Ichigo's sister. Rukia explains that the creature is called a hollow, a corrupted spirit drawn to Ichigo's strong spiritual energy. Before they can finish talking, the hollow attacks again, hurling its head toward Rukia. She manages to deflect it but is badly injured in the process. As she tries to counterattack, the hollow grabs her and begins gathering energy in its mouth. Rukia casts a spell to break free, flinging the creature into the air, but she crashes onto a car below. Ichigo runs to her side and sees she's gravely wounded. Rukia tells him there's only one way to survive. She must transfer her Soul Reaper powers into him. To do that, he has to pierce himself with her sword. Seeing the hollow charging at them again, Ichigo realizes he has no other choice and agrees. Rukia stabs him through the chest, passing her powers to him just as the hollow attacks. In an instant, Ichigo reappears, now wearing a black robe and wielding a massive sword. He's become a Soul Reaper himself. With one powerful strike, he cuts off the monster's arm. The hollow roars in rage, but Ichigo slices it clean in half, erasing it completely. When morning comes, Ichigo thinks it was all a dream, until he sees the massive hole in his wall. His family believes the damage came from a truck crash the night before. At school, Ichigo freezes in shock. Rukia is sitting in his class, disguised as a new transfer student. She pulls him aside and warns him. If he talks, she'll kill him. Then she explains the truth. She can't return to the Soul Society because she accidentally gave him all her powers. Until she gets them back, she's trapped in the human world and powerless to fight any more hollows. Rukia puts on a special glove and punches Ichigo's chest, separating his soul from his body again. She hands him a giant sword and tells him to transfer the power back to her. But the ritual fails. Ichigo's spiritual energy is too strong and blocks the process. The only way to fix it is for him to train and grow stronger. Otherwise, his body won't be able to handle the strain. But Ichigo refuses. He just wants to live a normal life. That night when he returns home, something unexpected happens. He finds Rukia hiding inside his closet. She says she has nowhere else to go and decides to stay there. Ichigo protests, demanding she leave, but Rukia refuses, telling him to accept his destiny. Just then, his father walks in, having heard a woman's voice. He punches Ichigo and opens the closet, but finds no one inside. Angry, his father scolds him for bringing women home and starts complaining about the cost of raising kids. The next day, Rukia begins Ichigo's training, but Ichigo can't even hold his sword properly, so Rukia gives him a wooden one and starts teaching him the basics of kendo. Still, Ichigo swings it randomly, showing just how far he has to go. Ichigo swings wildly, but not a single hit lands. Meanwhile, a red-haired Soul Reaper named Renji reports to his captain, Byakuya, that Rukia's spiritual energy has completely vanished. That can only mean one thing. She's transferred her powers to a human. Byakuya orders Renji to find her immediately, for giving Soul Reaper powers to a mortal is a serious crime. That night, while heading home from school, Ichigo senses someone following him. "Come out," he says firmly. Renji steps out, shocked that a human can see him. He demands to know where Rukia is, but Ichigo pretends not to know, protecting her. Angered, Renji draws his sword and attacks. Just then, an arrow whizzes past his head from the sky. Renji halts, startled, then retreats, giving Ichigo a chance to escape. Ichigo rushes home and tells Rukia what happened. When he asks who that other Soul Reaper was, she says only one thing: keep training or they'll kill you for sure. The next day, Ichigo meets a man wearing glasses. His name is Uryu Ishida. Uryu already knows that Ichigo is a Soul Reaper. He reveals that, like Ichigo, he too has special powers. As a descendant of an ancient clan known as the Quincy, a group nearly wiped out by the Soul Reapers themselves. To prove his power, Uryu forms a glowing spiritual bow and admits that he was the one who saved Ichigo from Renji the night before. Then, seeking revenge for his clan, he challenges Ichigo to a duel, but Ichigo refuses to fight. Frustrated, Uryu releases a special bait that attracts hollows all over the city. Rukia senses the dark energy approaching and rushes to Ichigo. She forces him to transform back into his Soul Reaper form, as he's the only one strong enough to protect the innocent. When they arrive at the park, Ichigo sees the spirit of a child he once saved, being chased by a massive hollow shaped like a spider. He draws his sword and attacks, but the monster is too fast. Every strike misses, and Ichigo is quickly worn out. The hollow throws him into the air and slams him to the ground. Just as it's about to finish him off, the creature is suddenly split in two. Renji has arrived. Moving at lightning speed, Renji points his blade at Ichigo's neck. Ichigo tries to fight back, but Renji kicks him hard into a tree and knocks him out with a blow to the face. Before Renji can land the final strike, Rukia steps in and tells him to stop, but her words only enrage him further. "Why are you protecting a human?" he shouts. Then from the shadows, Captain Byakuya appears. He turns to Rukia and reveals that he is her brother. He orders her to retrieve her powers from Ichigo, or kill him if necessary. Rukia refuses. She won't kill an innocent human, especially one she dragged into this mess. Seeing her defiance, Byakuya gives her one last chance. If she doesn't take her powers back by the next full moon, they will kill Ichigo themselves. Rukia quickly restores Ichigo's human body and treats his wounds with healing herbs. But Ichigo is hopeless. The gap in power between him and the Soul Reapers is far too great, and he has no idea what to do next. Over time, Rukia realizes Ichigo may never truly be ready, especially after the injuries he suffered in his last battle. So she makes a desperate plan. She goes to her brother Byakuya and proposes a deal. Ichigo will be used as bait to lure out a giant hollow known as Grand Fisher. Rukia vows to destroy it with her own hands to atone for her crime, and begs her brother to spare Ichigo's life, but Byakuya coldly rejects her request and questions her loyalty. Renji too grows furious, claiming Ichigo isn't even worth saving. Just then, Ichigo himself appears. He had followed Rukia and overheard everything he demands they stop fighting. Suddenly, a chilling roar echoes in the distance. Grand Fisher has arrived. Ichigo declares that he'll be the one to kill Grand Fisher, but only on one condition: Rukia's freedom. Renji prepares to attack, but Byakuya stops him and accepts the deal, convinced Ichigo won't survive anyway. Ichigo and Rukia begin intense training. This time, Ichigo is truly determined. He wants to protect Rukia and prove himself. He quickly makes progress, learning to control his spiritual energy and use it as a weapon. Following the traces of its aura, they finally locate Grand Fisher. But when the creature appears, it transforms into the same little girl who lured Ichigo's mother to her death. The truth hits him hard. They were the same being all along. Enraged, Ichigo transforms into a Soul Reaper once again. He slashes through the monster's tentacles and drives his sword into its heart. But then, he suddenly sees his mother's image before him. For a moment, he thinks he's hurt her. It's an illusion created by the hollow. Just as the creature prepares to strike, Rukia intervenes and saves Ichigo from a deadly blow. The hollow reveals its true form, a massive, horrifying beast. Fueled by rage, Ichigo charges at it, vowing revenge for his mother. The battle spills into the heart of the city. Grand Fisher smashes everything in its path. Buildings crumble, cars explode, and people run for their lives. Every move it makes leaves destruction in its wake. Ichigo dodges its monstrous tentacles with all his might, but eventually one catches him. The creature tries to crush him in its claws. Until an arrow pierces its side from above, Ichigo looks up and sees Uryu Ishida. He's joined the fight. Moving swiftly, Uryu fires a barrage of spiritual arrows, each glowing with intense blue light, but the hollow deflects them effortlessly. That gives Ichigo an opening. He darts forward, sliding beneath the monster's body and slashing across its abdomen. But instead of weakening it, the attack enrages the beast even more. It lets out a thunderous scream that shakes the sky, summoning a massive whirlwind that engulfs the entire area. Ichigo and Uryu are both thrown back. Ichigo hides inside a bus for cover, but the creature finds him. Its claws wrap around the bus, lifting it high into the air. At that moment, Uryu aims straight for its eye and releases an arrow. Bullseye. The hollow shrieks in pain, thrashing wildly. As it tears the bus apart in fury, Ichigo sees his chance. He leaps from above and drives his sword straight into the creature's skull, slicing it in half. The blow ends the fight and avenges his mother's death. The hollow collapses to the ground and disintegrates. Rukia rushes to Ichigo's side, worried. Exhausted but smiling, he tells her he's fine. Just as the two start to breathe again, Renji suddenly appears and stabs Uryu in the back. Despite the deal, he's come to kill Ichigo. Byakuya also arrives and gives Rukia one final chance. Kill Ichigo yourself, a soul reaper must never form bonds with a human. But even under her brother's command, Rukia refuses. She can't betray Ichigo. Her defiance enrages Byakuya, who orders Renji to destroy them both. Renji charges at Ichigo with deadly speed. Ichigo has to protect both himself and Rukia. But Renji's strikes are far too fast. Ichigo can barely defend. One brutal hit sends him crashing between cars. Yet something changes. For the first time, Ichigo can see Renji's movements. Now they're evenly matched. Ichigo gets back up and launches a counterattack. The two clash in a fierce sword duel, steel colliding with steel. Renji's power pushes Ichigo to his limit. Renji strikes again with a devastating blow. But this time, Ichigo blocks it and fights back. He pushes Renji away and lands a powerful kick that staggers him. Furious, Renji gets up and unleashes his true strength. With a roar, he activates his Zanpakuto, Zabumaru, transforming it into its second form. A massive, whip-like blade made of serrated segments. The weapon extends like a steel serpent toward Ichigo, striking with lightning speed. Ichigo tries to escape with all his strength, but dodging Renji's furious attacks is nearly impossible. Finally, Renji catches him and throws him like a rag doll straight into a pile of cars. Without a pause, he grabs a massive vehicle and hurls it toward Ichigo. The explosion lights up the street, engulfing everything in flames. Renji turns toward Rukia, ready to deliver the final blow. But from within the fire, Ichigo emerges. Everyone freezes in shock. Standing tall, scorched but unbroken, he speaks firmly. "It won't be that easy to defeat me." Then he charges forward, slashing at Renji with incredible speed. He deflects Renji's strikes and shatters his sword in a single blow. Seeing his lieutenant defeated, Byakuya steps in. He orders Renji to stand down. Ichigo runs straight toward the captain, determined to protect Rukia. He swings his sword, but Byakuya vanishes instantly. In the blink of an eye, he appears behind Ichigo and stops the blade effortlessly between two fingers. Ichigo attacks again, but the captain moves with godlike speed, slicing Ichigo's abdomen in one clean motion. Ichigo collapses to the ground. But before Byakuya can leave, Ichigo forces himself up one last time, raising his sword again. The captain reacts instantly, striking him down once more. Yet Ichigo refuses to stay down. He grabs Byakuya's arm, gasping, "This isn't over yet." Overcome by anger, Byakuya decides to end it himself. He raises his sword, ready to kill Ichigo. But Rukia steps in between them. She shoves Ichigo away, pretending to treat him like a worthless human. She slaps him, forbidding him to stand. She tries to stay cold, but her eyes fill with tears. "I'm tired of you," she says, though in truth she's protecting him. Rukia turns to her brother and says she'll surrender. She'll return to the Soul Society and face her punishment. "No one else has to die," she tells him. Then, taking Ichigo's sword, she points it toward her own chest and drives it in. In that instant, Ichigo's spiritual power drains away completely. The world flashes white, and then everything fades to silence. The next morning, Ichigo wakes up in his bed. There's not a single wound on his body. It feels like everything that happened was just a dream. He goes to school, sees his friends, but there's an emptiness inside him. Sitting at his desk, he opens his notebook, and in the corner of the page, he sees Rukia's handwriting. Ichigo smiles faintly. Rukia may be gone, but the mark she left behind